commentators, Democratic strategist Maria Cardona and Republican strategist Alice Stewart. Together they co-host the Hot Mics from Left to Right podcast. Maria, was this a missed opportunity? The president handled the Republicans fairly well, by all accounts, on the night of the State of the Union. Why not Fox?
You know, I do believe that he could have handled anything. He was incredible the night of the State of the Union, and I think he showed that he can handle anything that is thrown his way, including a Fox interview. But look, the fact of the matter is that Fox News, for a very long time now, is not on the level. And I don't think that this was ever going to be a real interview. And so for the purposes of what the White House wants to do and what President Biden is doing, I think him going out to states and districts and talking to the American people directly about the huge accomplishments that he talked during the State of the Union about is a much better way to use his time, much more effective, giving that message directly to the American people.
I think it's a tremendous fumble on the part of this administration. Look, I think there are a few people at Fox that would do a fair job. Shannon Breen comes to mind. She would be fair and give a good interview. Look, anytime you have the opportunity to present your message and make your case to an audience, you should absolutely do so. They're expecting 100 million people to tune into the Super Bowl. These are not just Fox News viewers. These are middle America people. These are undecided voters. These are people in states where he really needs to get his message out to. So the fact that he would not sit down to do this interview, I think he's missing a great chance to really get his case out there. If he wants to run on his record, this is a great time to debate it.
Maria, let me ask you, speaking of the former president who didn't do NBC, right?
Exactly.
He didn't do NBC during one of those Super Bowls. But we saw, I mean, Trump was really looming over a lot of the news this week, starting with the State of the Union. His former press secretary delivered the Republican response. And then you saw during some of these hearings up on Capitol Hill this past week, you had the Twitter hearing. That was obviously tailor-made for an audience of one. Remember the old audience of one, Donald Trump? Mm-hmm. And then the so-called weaponization subcommittee hearing also seemed to be going after old Trump grudges and so on. And I just wondered, is this what Democrats were hoping for?
Well, it is certainly the reality that Trump, and specifically Trumpism, is dominating the current Republican Party, and especially the Republican Party that is now has control of the House of Representatives. And we saw it when it took Kevin McCarthy 15 times to get the speakership, and each and every single time he had to sell out and, you know, put together a corrupt bargain each and every time, because the MAGA extremists did not think that he was MAGA extremist enough. So he had to prove them otherwise. But I do think that it's dangerous moving into the presidential election in 2024, because I know so many people, including my dear friend Alice, would love that the Republican Party is turning the page on Trump to be true. I don't see that being true yet. And yes, he certainly has been diminished. He certainly has, you see it in polls, apparently. But you also see that so many people are getting ready to jump into this race. And the more people that jump into this race, the more it benefits Trump. And the more I think it riles up his core native base. And they're the ones who are going to come out in massive, massive droves for him.
And I know, Alice, you want the party to move on, but it didn't seem like the party was moving on this week.
Look, it is turning the page. Rational Republicans, key Republican donors, are looking elsewhere, and they want to see someone else besides Donald Trump. They want to see someone that has his policies and represents the issues that he represents, but without the dumpster fire that Donald Trump brings along. And we're going to see that. Yes, I expect to see a large field on the Republican side, because there are many people that represent what Republicans are looking for. Nikki Haley is expected to get in this week, and I think that's good. I think a robust, healthy primary is a good thing. And my message to anyone who's thinking about getting in against Donald Trump, let the vetting begin. Fight to win and coalesce in the end. Coalesce away from Donald Trump, because we need all of those Republicans that are not Donald Trump to get together and get behind one person in order to beat him in the primary. He's got a strong base, but the Republican nominee needs to keep his base on board, broaden the electorate in order to take on what appears to be Joe Biden.
The problem is that Republican donors are very different from the core of the voters that have become the Republican Party. And the dumpster fire was alive and well. We saw it the night of the State of the Union when they were acting out their dumpster fireness right in the president's face. And he took them on and he buried them. And so I think for the presidential, on behalf of the Republican Party, Alice, you know that the more people you all have running in the primary, the easier it is going to be for Trump to win, because he didn't win with a majority in 2016. He doesn't need to win with a majority this time around.
And that's what's going to happen. Again, I expect to see a large number of people get in. We've heard and seen all of the names of people out there. But look, you have to remember, right now it's very early. Comparison in the 2016 race. This time in 2015, it was Jeb Bush and Scott Walker. Both of them ran out of money and enthusiasm by the time we got to the caucuses and the primaries. This is very early. A lot of the names we're talking about now probably are not going to make it in the end. But the polls show that if we get at least the top 2 or 3 behind Donald Trump and all of their supporters behind them, they'll have more of a opportunity to beat Donald Trump and in turn beat the Democrat.
All right, we'll have to keep an eye on that.
See.
We'll see about all that. There was a lot there, a lot of
Yeah.
all in one package. All right, Marie and Alice, thank you very much.
Thanks,
ladies.
Jim.
Appreciate it. Stay with us.